Hi everyone, Dr. Roadhouse with Roadhouse Chiropractic. Welcome to Ask Dr. B show. Today we're going to be covering weight loss gems and headache remedies. I just want to remind everybody that we are conveniently located at the Kelly Medical Building on campus of St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa. So if you're in Tulsa and need a chiropractor, give us a call. When you come in to see us, we're going to evaluate you, fill out some paperwork, do a history, see if you're a candidate. If you're not a candidate, we've got plenty of doctors here that we can refer you to. So anyway, today what we want to talk about is weight loss gems. And what do you think is more important? Do you think it's more important to exercise or diet when it relates to losing weight? I mean, what's more important? If you exercise regularly and you go to a gym or you ride a bike, whatever, have you noticed that there are some people that they seem like they work out real hard, but they never really lose any weight? So if you kind of look at the calories that are burned when you do a workout, I mean, depending on what you're doing, you know, you're going to burn like maybe 300 to 500 calories. And so there's probably a chart that you go to. I know Cooper, the aerobics place in Dallas, has a list of things that you can look at, and you can see this activity and you can see how many calories you burn. But I think that's even kind of, I don't even know if that works, because, you know, I might be working out and I'm doing an activity and I'm like this, and someone else is doing the same activity and they're doing this. Who's really going to burn more calories? So I think what happens is people get in the mindset that I just worked out, I sweat, I think I got a pretty good workout, it's time to go and reward myself, and I'm going to go have a couple slices of pizza, I'm going to drink a beer. Well, if you look at those calories that you just consumed, they're going to be way more than the calories that you just burned. So to answer that question, no matter what you're trying to do as far as weight loss goes, the diet is more important than the actual exercise, because you're not going to burn enough calories. So when it comes down to weight loss, you have to do exercise. But you know what? Some of our patients, they have sciatica, they hurt their neck, or they have knee problems, and they physically can't exercise. They can still lose weight. The whole thing is you got to bring in less calories. So it's pretty simple on the mathematics. And that is that approximately 1,500 to 2,000 calories you're going to maintain, and you're going to lose weight for the typical person. Now you got people that are fast burners, and you know, there's all kinds of variables. That's what makes weight loss so interesting when patients come in, because there's so many different factors that can affect, you know, the weight loss. So if you want to lose weight and you're exercising, and let's say you're exercising, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We're going to give you 500 calories that you're burning. Okay? So that looks pretty good, except for the fact that you are taking in 3,000 calories. 3,000 minus 500, do the math, 2,500 calories. The average person, if they take in 2,000 calories, depending on, you know, their body type and how they burn calories, some people burn more, some people have a faster metabolism, you're going to maintain at about 2,000. So let's say that in 1 month that you take in 2,500 calories. That's the difference. That's the difference between the amount of calories that you take and the exercise you're going to gain weight, even if it's only 2 to 3 pounds a year. 10 years goes by on this type of a diet, you're going to gain about anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds. Simple. You're not eating a whole lot. You're just eating. I mean, if you're eating fast food, I'll guarantee you that you're getting in all kinds of calories and all kinds of sugars, all kinds of salt, swelling. So for you to lose weight, you have to do the math, and you have to do 1,500, 1,800 less. If you look at most diets, I remember there was a diet, the HCG diet, a little while, and everyone was ranting and raving about that. The only problem is that the diet that they were on was about 500, 800 calories. You would have lost weight no matter what you're doing at 500 to 800 calories. It had nothing to do with the HCG. But when you look at the overall picture of weight loss, you have to take in less calories than what you've been. So if you've been taking 3,000, 2,500, and some people, they eat a lot more than that. There are certain percentage of population actually crave gluten, calories. And so if you have what's called a gluten morph, that means if you have that gene, that means that every time you eat gluten, your brain produces morphine-like substances like the endorphins and caffeines that runners get when they get that, break through that pain level, and their brain produces morphine. So those patients do the same thing when they eat things that have gluten in them, and it gives them that euphoric feeling, and that's why they came up with the word comfort food. So if you have that, you have to make sure that that's one of the signs that you need to cut back on gluten. So exercising is not the end all. It is important because it does a lot of other things. But to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you just need to take in less of the fattening foods and more of the good leafy vegetables, lean meats, lean proteins, fruits, a certain amount of fruit. You got to be careful of fruit, because fruit, there's such a thing as a glycemic index. And there are certain fruits that are low glycemic. You can look it up. I don't know where you'd look it up right now. I can't remember. But you can look up glycemic index on foods. So, like if you're eating fruit, for example, there's certain fruits that you shouldn't eat if you're trying to lose weight. One of them, which is my favorite, is strawberries. I love strawberries. I could eat strawberries all day long. I'd never get tired of them. They're high glycemic. That means there's more sugar intake in that. So you have to be careful. I had one patient, she had lost 30 pounds in our weight loss program, and all of a sudden she's gaining weight, and I told her, that she needed to increase her fruit. She wasn't getting enough fruit. Well, she's from Porter. So she goes, what about a peach? I go, yep, it's got a seed in it, a pit, a stone fruit, that's what that's called. And so it's going to be on the lower side of glycemic index. So she said, she's from Porter. I said, yeah, cut it up, and eat a little bit throughout the day. Well, all of a sudden she's gaining 10 pounds after last month. And I go, what's going on here? She doesn't understand. And we start talking about it. Well, she really liked those Porter peaches. She was eating 5 or 6 a day. I've had patients that come in and go, we ask them, well, do you have a sweet tooth? Do you like sweets? Oh, no, not really. Not really. Oh, really? Tell me what you eat during the day. Oh, it's not bad. I only eat like Snickers in the morning, Snickers in the afternoon. Well, I can tell you, if you eat those two things or you're drinking pop, we have a chart up front. It's on our Facebook page. It talks about the sugar content in all the pops. Pop is bad, carbonation. It affects phosphorus absorption, which affects calcium absorption. It affects the stomach acid. It's really not good for you. On top of that, most of them has 60 to 70 grams of sugar in there. If you ever quit eating or quit drinking a pop, if you drink a lot of them during the day, you quit drinking just for 2 weeks. The next time you take a drink out after not taking for 2 weeks, you're going to get this tingle on the inside of your salivary glands, and they're going nuts because they're getting all the sugar. But you get used to it, and that causes you to spike. We are glucose burners. We burn glucose for energy. When the glucose is gone, we get the signs that we need more glucose, and we crave it, and then we eat it. And then our energy goes back up. We're feeling good. Our mood's good, and it keeps going back down again. So you want to try to avoid that. You want to try to keep your blood sugar in this level pattern here without having all these dips and moving around. So anyway, you want to eat sensibly and you want to eat throughout the day. I saw a study that they talked about mice. Mice dabble all day long. They graze. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. Rats gorge. They looked at the diet. They ate the same amount. And there's probably some genetic stuff for why a rat is bigger than a mouse. But still, what they came up with, they were eating the same amount. They gorge it in one meal, where the mice ate it all day long. So my advice to you is don't be a rat. Don't be gorging. Eat during the day. Small meals every 2 to 3 hours to keep your blood sugar level. So there's sensible ways to lose weight. There's sensible ways to exercise. So you have to find a balance between exercising and diet if you want to lose weight. There's a lot of things that can affect it. I mean, alcohol consumption can affect it. Coffee, sugar, if you're pre-diabetic, if your insulin levels are off, if you have a gallbladder problem, or if you have your gallbladder removed, if you have estrogen dominance, if you have, like you don't really gain much weight in the arms or the legs, but you gain it in the midsection, you probably got estrogen dominance where the receptors just aren't working more. You've probably all seen someone that went on a diet, maybe they need to lose quite a bit of weight, they get on the diet and after 2 or 3 months they've really lost a lot of weight and then they kind of plateau, and if you look at them, they've lost a lot of weight in the upper body, but they haven't lost the same amount proportion in the legs. So what happens is we burn glucose. Once that's gone, then we go to carbohydrates. Once that's gone, glucose and carbohydrates, once that's gone, then we go to protein. So if we're not taking enough calories and we're really cutting this down, like I've seen some people in 500-600, they'll lose weight initially, your thyroid's going to slow down, it's going to plateau, and then you're going to go into what's called catabolism. Catabolism is where you start digesting your muscles for energy. So you'll lose weight, and then all of a sudden you'll see they'll have smaller shoulders and they still have big hips and legs. So you got to be careful on that. And then finally we get into, if we do the diet right, where we start burning fat. Fat is the energy source we want to get to. If you look at a bodybuilder, and they're a professional bodybuilder, or even an amateur bodybuilder, and they're trying to get in good shape and they've got the abs, they have had to get into ketosis to get there. So one of the things you can do is you can look at any diet you want. You can do the blood type diet, whatever it is, if it works for you. If you remember back to when you were younger, if you didn't have a problem losing weight, if you gained a little bit of weight, you can go ahead and do things, cut back your calories for a couple of weeks, and boom, you lose 3 to 5 pounds. That's awesome, 10 pounds, whatever it is, and it kind of does that for years. And then all of a sudden it gets to the point where if you're a female, maybe you've had a baby, or you've got a sedentary job, whether you're male or female, and you start to gain a little bit of weight as time goes on. And then you go back to trying to do the things that you used to do when you went to weight loss. It doesn't work anymore. You've got something going on. At that point, you want to try, okay, that didn't work. Now we can try all these different things. So, you got the weight loss from a blood type. You can do that diet. You can do any of those programs where they, you can buy the food. The problem with that is if you buy the food, it's going to be expensive, number one. Number two, it doesn't really teach you how to eat properly. Because the meals are made for you, the portions are there, but you haven't had to figure it out and do it. So when you go back to trying to lose weight or maintaining it, it's going to be hard for you to maintain because everything is done for you. You haven't learned how to have a healthy lifestyle. So those things, are good if you need to lose weight, but sooner or later, if you want to keep the weight off and you want to quit gaining it back, you need to learn how to eat properly and how to combine it with exercise. some of the other things, if you try those diets and you're not losing weight, you could have fatty degenerative liver disease, which comes from the standard American diet where we eat a lot of carbs. I mean, look at breakfast. I mean, really, if you look at the protein are eggs. The protein is bacon, sausage, chicken, I guess, if you're going to have it. But most of the stuff for breakfast are carbs. You got your pancakes, you got your toast, you got your muffin, you got your croissants, you got bread, you got waffles, you got French toast. It's all carb laden. And if you eat like that over a period of time, there comes a time when your metabolism slows down and you just have a difficult time losing the weight. High sugar intake is going to affect it. Overeating is going to be one thing. Like as time goes on, if you've ever seen that My 600-Pound Life, I watch it every once in a while just to keep me straight so that I don't eat too much anymore. But I watch it, and I mean they're eating like 22 eggs, 2 things of sausage, and I'm not talking 2 sausage links. I'm talking the loaf where they cut it up and eat that. They couldn't go from one day eating 1 or 2, things of sausage and 2 or 3 eggs to all of a sudden eat 22. They've done that over time, and they've stretched their stomach out. And that's why a lot of them end up having the stomach stapling, because they got to get their stomach back to the original size. So the thing is that, you have to learn how to lose weight and how to, live properly. So as far as weight loss goes. But there are things that you need help with a doctor. If you try all these things and you're still having trouble, that's when you want to go see a doctor. You want to do a consultation. You want to make sure the thyroid's working right. You want to make sure the gallbladder's working right. You want to make sure that you're not having any irritable bowel. You want to make sure you're not having any belly bloat symptoms, because you want to make sure you're not gaining weight. These are all things that indicate something else is holding you back from losing weight. And if you want to lose weight, you got to figure out. I've had patients in our thyroid program that they, are eating like 600 calories a day, and they're working out like 2-3 hours a day, and they still can't lose weight. As a matter of fact, they gain weight. So if that's the case, something has to be solved. So, if you look at the overall picture of weight loss, try whatever you want out there. Try to eat sensibly, but if you want to lose weight, try it, because you hear people all the time, hey, I was on this diet, it worked for me. Other people go, I tried it, it didn't work. So whatever it is, try that first and then see what's going on. One of the things I want to talk about today is that I've been having some of my patients try this product called Prove It, and it's exogenous ketones. So when I go back to talking about the bodybuilder, and they have to get into ketosis to where you can see their muscles in the six-pack, you can't have hardly any fat, maybe 1 to 2% of body fat on that to get that. And so to do that, you have to get in ketosis. It takes a long time to get there, and when you get there, it's not a lot of fun. So the thing about Prove It is these are exogenous ketones. So that means that we are programmed to be a insulin burner for energy. And when we burn our insulin, then we start craving carbs again, and we get those in there. The next thing after that is we're going to burn protein. It takes us a long time to get where we burn fat. The one thing about exogenous ketones, this Keto OS, is that when you take it in, it takes about an hour to get into your system, and it burns your fat. So what it does is it helps get rid of those cravings that you have, and it keeps your blood sugar level like this. And I've had patients on this that tried all different things, and they weren't able to lose any weight. The nice thing about the exogenous ketones from the Keto OS is that when you first start doing it, don't even change your diet. Just eat the way that you're eating. In 4 to 5 days, you start noticing that you don't have the cravings. And then you start losing weight. Once that happens, that's that moment where the light bulb goes on. You're going, wait a minute, I'm doing something here. I didn't change my habit, because if you're taking in a fatty diet or carb diet, the ketones are going to use that to burn for energy, and you're going to start burning the fat for energy rather than the glucose or the carbs. And that's when you see the difference of it. So just take it, if you know someone is selling it, just get some, take it for 5 days. They usually have a trial pack for about 5 days. You'll see that because your blood sugar is going to start stabilizing. And then after that, the light's going to come on, and that's when you're going to really get committed. Because all of a sudden you're doing something, you didn't really change your diet, you didn't change your exercising, but you're seeing that it's burning the fat for energy, and you'll see your energy level is going to be up. And it's not the energy level like if you drink coffee and you get real hyped like that. It's basically that it's burning, and you're using the fat for energy, which lasts a lot longer. So when we're glucose burners for energy, as soon as that glucose gets down low, then we're no longer burning anymore, and that's when you get the craving to have more. So what this is doing is it's burning fat, and you're going to start losing weight. So anyway, try that. If that still doesn't work, then you might need to go see a professional, because you could have a thyroid problem, you could have a gallbladder problem, and it doesn't mean that your thyroid is like way out of whack. It could just be off a little bit. So the normal TSH values are 0.35 to 5.0. If you're like at 4.0, it's still within the normal range, but it's not optimal, so it's not going to work as good. And so as far as what that would do for you, and what you could do in the future, I mean, it's going to make a change for you. So we have a question from Jose Gonzalez, and he says, Herbalife, what do you think about that? I see a lot of people at my gym that use that and works. Bottom line is, anything that you can find that doesn't have anything in there, if it doesn't have a lot of caffeine in there, and if it doesn't have a lot of sodium in there, and it gets you better. I actually have a friend that's a professional bodybuilder, and he's sponsored by them, and it helps to keep him lean. So it's a very good product. You just have to find what works for you. I can tell you this, that if you have 100 people that are getting into a weight loss, trying to lose weight, you have 100 people and you put them all in the same thing, and you do a random controlled study where you control their food and you control their activity, not everybody's going to lose weight. It's just like when a patient comes in and they've tried a medication, and the medication works for some, it doesn't work for them. Nothing is 100%. If you try it, if the medication works, fine. If it does, I've had patients that they had trouble controlling their blood pressure, and then when they got them on a different, blood pressure medicine, it was controlled. So nothing works 100%. Find what what works for you, and that's good. And what works for you now might not work for you 10 years from now. So if there's something that's holding you back or giving you a problem like that, then you need to figure out what's going on. But the main thing is, you want, for sustained weight loss, activity level, yes, you have to do that, but also you have to learn to eat properly. That doesn't mean that, once you get everything taken care of, that means you can't have a cheat day. I love barbecue ribs. I'm not going the rest of my life without eating barbecue ribs. That's my cheat. I usually don't do it too much in the wintertime. In the summertime, I like to, smoke ribs. I like to do a pork shoulder. I like to do brisket. It's got fat burns. I can justify it all I want. Bottom line is, I'm going to eat it. But that motivates me to exercise and eat healthy the rest of the time. You can still have your life's pleasures, but you just can't do it 100% of the time. So anyway, if you know anybody that's struggling with weight loss, like this page. If you can share it, that'd be great, because we're basically just trying to help other people out. Holly Huddleston, thank you for liking our page. Pat Backus and Jose Gonzalez. I hope that answered your question. If you have any questions, you can email us at AskDrBShow@gmail.com, and I'll see you next Tuesday.